Hi guys, how are you? Guess what? This is gonna be the third time that I record this video. It's a challenge. My phone doesn't want to cooperate. It doesn't have enough space in it in order to be able to record. So it's very problematic. But hey, here we are. I hope that you have enjoyed your weekend. I hope that you have done your work from last weeks. Something that I have noticed is that your parents are not watching the video that I sent, and neither you are, because I sent specific instructions about what you should do to send your classworks when the moment comes. But you keep asking me how can I send them because I have them done already. So I'm gonna say this in Spanish so your parents can hear, and if not they're hearing, at least you can explain it to them. Número uno, los trabajos en clase los va a hacer en el cuaderno. Tiene que tener su portada para semana, cada semana. No me tiene que enviar nada hasta que se lo pida. Por favor, deje de poner cosas en el muro. El muro no es para eso. Solo va a enviar trabajos en clase cuando yo lo pida. El resto usted lo va acumulando en el cuaderno y lo va a enviar todo el mismo día. Por favor, deje de postear cosas en el muro. No me envíe trabajos por WhatsApp. Yo no estoy pidiendo ningún trabajo en clase por WhatsApp. Por favor, ya no me llamen a medianoche preguntándome a dónde va. Recuerde que a las 3 de la tarde termina la comunicación. Entonces les pido que pongan atención y hablen con sus papás y mamás. Yo les mandé un video a ellos explicándolo, pero creo que no todos lo vieron. Que solamente una vez a la semana, en este caso el viernes, del viernes en adelante está abierta la plataforma para que usted suba. Yo le voy a subir la lista de cosas que tiene que subir, pero hasta que yo le diga: alumnos, esta semana subiremos trabajos en clase. Papás y mamás, le voy a mandar en WhatsApp a sus padres: esta semana subiremos trabajos en clase. Pero mientras tanto, deje de subir en la plataforma. Por favor, ponga atención. No me envíe trabajos en clase por WhatsApp. No es por ahí que lo voy a evaluar. Por favor. Necesito que usted envíe las cosas cuando yo se las pido, con la portada, con las fechas, con los datos que le pedí, cuando yo se lo pida. No me mande nada. Cuando discutamos esta historia, le diga: discutimos estas preguntas, usted las va a escribir o las va a imprimir. Otra pregunta que tienen sus padres: ¿dónde compro el libro? Yo les dije: el libro de limoncello no lo vamos a imprimir. Usted lo va a leer en su compu, o en tablet o en el celular. El libro de reading solo va a imprimir si tiene el dinero y la impresora. La hoja de ejercicio, si no tiene, no imprima nada. Copie todo en su cuaderno, desde el principio hasta el final. Otra cosa, los trabajos en clase que vi estaban incompletos. No están escribiendo las respuestas completas. Solo me ponen the kids are. Usted tiene que poner toda la respuesta completa. El año pasado discutimos eso. No solo ponga la respuesta, sino que usted ponga la oración completa con parte de la pregunta. Ya hablamos de esto el año pasado. Por favor, trabaje como se le pide y siga instrucciones. Recuerde que su trabajo en clase es acumulativo. Si usted no lo envía como es, usted no va a obtener los puntos requeridos. Por favor, deje de enviar cosas al muro, por WhatsApp, a las 11 de la noche, a horas que no corresponden. Los libros, únicas páginas que puede imprimir son las de reading si tiene impresora, y solamente las preguntas que aparecen entre cada historia. De ahí usted no tiene que imprimir nada. En Grammar todo va escrito en el cuaderno, absolutamente todo, lo que yo escribo en la pizarra y el ejercicio. Nada impreso en Grammar. En reading usted va a imprimir si tiene el dinero. Si no tiene el dinero y ni tiene la opción de tener una impresora, entonces usted dígale a su papá y a su mamá: tranquilo papá y mamá, aquí nadie imprime nada, aquí nadie gasta nada. Todas las preguntas las escribo en el cuaderno. Así usted practica su caligrafía para tener una letra más bonita que la mía, y usted practica su escritura y su organización. Por favor, sigan instrucciones. Ok. That's it. I'm saying this in Spanish because you seem to not understand the instructions. I keep saying the same thing on and on and on, but you seem to not understand. We have already wasted 4 minutes from our class already. Today we are going to start reading from our book. Your book has an order that is very specific, so you're going to have to organize that. Your reading book, it's numbered differently. So page number 2, that is what we are going to read today. The story is called A New Mate. And it's this story. see, yeah, see? But the problem is that when I go to the index, it says number 6. Is page number 6, but according to the numbers of the books, is page number 2. So if you're looking in your index, if you're writing in there, if you're moving your pages like this, it's gonna be page number 6, but the story in the book is page number 2. So we're gonna be guided by the name of the story, A New Mate. Okay, so let's start. A new mate. What would it be like to live in Australia? So as we can see there's a picture of a woman, and she's standing in front of the map of Australia. I'm guessing Australia is it's a country very far from here. Okay, let's start. A new mate. I think most of you have already met our new student Gemma, said Mrs. Dimitri to her class. As you know, she has recently moved here from Australia. I know you all have lots of questions about Australia, and Gemma has said she'd be happy to answer them. We can also try to give her an idea of what life is like here in Massachusetts. I don't know where Massachusetts is in the States, but she's moving from Australia to the United States. Gemma was a tall girl, very tall, with thick, dark brown hair, very brown, very big hair. She had pale blue eyes, beautiful eyes, and big hair. And there was a dusting of freckles across her nose. She has a lot of freckles. So this could be kind of like a freckle, or maybe this, but she has a ton of her on her nose. She smiled at the class. I'm very happy to be here, she said. Everyone has been really nice to me. It feels like I've been here longer than a week already. As you can see here, every paragraph is numbered, so it's easier for us to find the answers. Mrs. Dimitri smiled. I'm glad to hear it. We're excited to have you here, Gemma. Before we started, why don't you tell everyone where you live in Australia? My family lived in Queensland, began Gemma. It's one of Australia's 6 states, and it's located in the northeast part of the continent. Queensland is the second largest state in Australia. It's a bit more than twice as big as Texas. So if it's 2 times bigger than Texas, it's humongous, because we are like this if we compare Honduras to Texas. So I'm pretty sure Australia is ginormous. What the weather is like in there? Asked Kayla. Do you have cold, snowy winters like we do here? Because in the States you get a lot of snow. Actually, because Australia is the southern hemisphere, the seasons are the reverse of what they are in the United States. They are the opposite, the seasons. So the seasons in the United States are summer, super hot, it's horrendous. Winter, super cold, it's beautiful, but it's also kind of uncomfortable. And you have a lot of snow and blizzards and can get dangerous. Spring, you see a lot of flowers and trees, and the weather is kind of humid, but it's nice. And then fall, before the winter, or autumn, it's windy and you see all the leaves falling. Things that don't happen in here. In here we have a mix and match of the seasons. Again in paragraph number 6, in the 4th sentence, Queensland. Queensland is in a tropical part of Australia, kind of like Honduras. So it doesn't get very cold in January, which is summertime. It is in the 80s and 90s. In July, which is wintertime, it might be in the 60s. Queensland gets a lot of rain, and I won't miss that at all. I can wait until the snows in here this winter. I've never built a snowman or gone sledding before. So just for you to kind of locate where the weather is going at, 80s and 90s is kind of hot. So Tegucigalpa usually is in 70s, and that's kind of cold. And then if in the summertime, 80, 90 would be kind of like Tegus, and 60 would be kind of like Santa Lucia. So as you can see, the weather in Queensland is a mix between Santa Lucia and Tegucigalpa. Queensland is near Australia's Great Barrier Reef, Miss Dimitri told the class. Gemma, can you tell us a little about it? So the coral reef, we have a coral reef in Isla de la Bahía, Roatán, and those places. And it's this kind of like sea plant where a lot of animals live, and when you're going in the airplane you can see the blue and the green in the ocean. It's beautiful, and it's actually protected by the UNESCO because it's so valuable that people sometimes take pieces and they sell them, and it's a beautiful thing that helps to clean the ocean, and it's a treasure of humanity. Paragraph number 8. Gemma nodded. The Great Barrier Reef is the largest coral reef in the world. It lies off the coast of Queensland and is more than 1,200 miles long. It is home to all kinds of animal and plant life. It is an amazing place to go scuba diving. BJ raised his hand. Can you teach us how to say some words in Australian? He asked. Most people in Australia speak English, said Gemma, but we do have some different words and expressions than you do in America. For example, the word for friend is mate. Vonsa means very good. Umbrella is brolly, and honest is fair dinkum. So as you can see, even if both countries speak the same languages, they have some specific words for every country. So instead of saying, you're my friend, and then you say, you're my mate. And the way that they pronounce the R's is very discreet. They kind of like mispronounce the R's. So they say, instead of saying R, like people would say in English, they go like, oh. I don't know how to describe it. I cannot replicate the accent. And instead of saying very good, they say Vonsa. Can you imagine if I was like, Vonsa, kids? That's excellent. And you're like, what is that? And then umbrella is brolly. So as you can see, even if they speak the same language, just like we speak the same language at El Salvador or Guatemala, we have different ways to say the things. Is there another word or expression for thank you? Asked Dimitri. Yes. Ta means thank you. Ta. Ta. Can you imagine just saying ta? Like, can I have a soda? Oh, ta. Ta. Like, ta. And you're like, ta-da. No, ta means thank you. Gemma, you have given us an excellent idea of what it's like to live in Australia. Ta, Gemma. We're so glad to have you in our class. So as you can see, Gemma, being a new girl in the school, she gets welcomed amazingly by her classmates, and she can share her experience of living in another country. Let's go to page number 3 for your activities. It says in there, name. So remember, if you have the page, you can print it, and if you don't have the page, you can just copy everything in your notebook. Write the words from the story that have the meanings below. Just before the present time. So write the words from the story that have the meaning below. So in here, they're giving us the meaning of the word, but we need to find the name of that word in the story. So we have just before the present time, and we go there. What do you think would mean just before the present time? I think if you go back to the story, to number 1, I think most of you have already met our new student. Already means that happened, and it doesn't have to happen again, or it's not about to happen. It happened. It has happened. Like when you eat and someone asks you, did you eat today? I already ate. You have done it. It's gone. The activity, it's done. Already means that it happened. So in the first one, in the first line, just before the present time means already. So in the line for 1, you're going to write already in here. See, in here, in 1, already, in number 1. The answer is in the first paragraph. Number 2, 1/2 of the earth when divided by the equator. So the Earth, it's kind of like a circle, but it's divided in a line by the equator. So we go back to the story, 1/2, and then we In paragraph number 4, we have the answer. It says, my family live in Queensland, began Gemma. It's one of Australia's 6 states, and it's located in the northeast part of the continent. So the northeast is the top part of a country, north, and then east is in this side, not in this side, this side. So northeast, and then the south is over here, north, south. So we can find in there the answer for the next. 1/2 of the air when divided by the equator, northeast. Later we have opposite. What would be the word that means opposite? Let's see. Okay. Paragraph number 6 says, actually, because Australia is in the southern hemisphere, the seasons are the reverse. Reverse would be the correct answer for number 3. Opposite is the same as reverse. It's something that is different. Instead of being white, the reverse would be black. Instead of being good, the reverse would be bad. So for number 3, opposite would be reverse. Number 4, specific words or phrases. So what do you think that is the word that has for meaning specific words or phrases? Let's go to paragraph number 10. Number 10 says, most people in Australia speak English, said Gemma, but we do have some different words and expressions. So we go back to number 4 and we have specific words or phrases is expressions. Excellent. Now, later we have, a fact is something that is known to be true, and an opinion is what a person believes. It may or may not be true. Write F before the sentences that are facts, and write O before the sentences that are opinions. So facts are things that are completely true, and opinions are things that I might think that tamales are delicious, but you might not like them. That's an opinion. But a fact is that all of them are food. I can say peanuts are good for the body, for your health, and that is a fact. They are excellent for the body. But I like them, that's an opinion, but maybe nobody, and not everybody like them. So a fact is something that is 100% true, and an opinion is what I believe or what I think of what's happening. So we have, Gemma moved to the United States from Australia. Is that a fact or is that an opinion? Is that true or that's what I believe? So you're gonna write F if it's a fact or O if it's an opinion. Number 6, Queensland is more than twice big as Texas. What do you think? We said that if we are like this, Texas is like this, and then Queensland would be like this. So Queensland is more than twice as big as Texas. Is that an opinion or a fact? Is that true, or maybe we believe that that's the way? Number 7, it would be exciting to visit Australia. I would like to go, but I don't know if you like to go. Not everybody's gonna like Australia. They say that there's a lot of dangerous animals in there. I wouldn't go. So, what do you think? Do you think that it would be fun to go to Australia? So, is that a fact? Everybody's gonna have fun, 100%. Or do you think that it's an opinion? The weather in Australia is more enjoyable than in Massachusetts. What do you think? Do you like hot weather or cold weather? Do you like the snow or you like the heat? So if we compare the weather in Australia than in Massachusetts in number 8, some people is gonna like it, some people is not gonna like it. So number 8, is it a fact because it's 100% true, or is it an opinion because some people may think differently? Write your answer over there. Then we have Australia is in the southern hemisphere. Remember that we said that the southern is over here and the northern hemisphere is over here. So Australia is in the northeast over here, up and to the right over here. So what do you think? Do you think that Australia is in the south, in the southern hemisphere, or in the northeast hemisphere? So what do you think? Australia is in the southern hemisphere? Is that a fact because it's 100% true, or is that an opinion because it's an oh, maybe they're right, maybe they're not? And later you have a couple questions to answer. What is the Great Barrier Reef? Remember that we said that we see them in Roatán and we see them sometimes too in Isla de la Bahía en Guanaja. So it's a kind of like a greeny plant. Sometimes it's kind of like orangey and reddy too. And it's the home of a lot of animals. It's beautiful. I'm gonna post a video of coral reefs in there so you can see it. It's completely amazing. So you can see what lives in there so we can write an answer about it. So what is a coral reef? Remember, complete sentences. A coral reef is, your answer should be short because we don't have a lot of space. Then we have, what does fair dinkum means? If you go back to the story when she's telling the expressions in Australian, you're gonna see what fair dinkum means. Remember, complete sentences. Number 11, fair dinkum means, you have to get the answer. Number 12. How are the seasons different in Australia that they are in the United States? So in here you can choose if you compare Australia and Honduras because both of them have seasons that are very alike. So do you think that Honduras and the United States have the same seasons? Because Australia and Honduras have kind of like the same. So how are the seasons different? Well, Australia is a tropical country, like Honduras, and the United States is not a tropical country. Another difference can be, the difference are Australia have seasons like Honduras, and the United States have multiple and very different seasons. And number 13, if you could ask Gemma a question about living in Australia, what would it be? Now, that's going to be a personal question for you. If I could ask Gemma something about it, would be, what is the typical food in Australia? I would like to know that. Or is there a typical custom in Australia? I would like to see it. So, Gemma can answer any question, I'm pretty sure, but we don't know Gemma. But let's imagine that she could answer your question. So remember, this classwork, we're doing it together, and if you were lost in some of the answers, just rewind the video and you can see what the answers are. For number 1, what is a Great Barrier Reef? Number 10, well, I'm gonna post a video so you can see what they are and you can write a question. Remember, complete sentences. A barrier reef is, if you don't write complete sentences and your homeworks are not complete, you're not going to have all your cumulatives for every week, okay? So please do your classworks on time. And remember, don't send me anything until I ask you for it, okay? Please. Friday is going to be the day for that. It's going to be available on Friday. So I hope you're okay, and I hope you enjoyed this, and you're welcome because we did our classwork together. Have a nice one day, guys. Bye.